Welcome back to Hodge and Podge. You ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
You put in a lot of topics this week, I noticed, so guess we'll start running through them. Obviously, baseball is big on the mind with the postseason. So what do you think of the ALCS here? We got the Rangers obviously in,
right,
and waiting on the Yankees or Tigers.
Well, you know, we're kind of jumping the gun a tad because we don't know exactly when. But I think it's going to be Rangers-Yankees, and you know, I'm not a big Yankee fan, but I think at the end of the day they're going to win. And I see the Yankees taking the Rangers in the ALCS. I think it's going to be 6 games to be the Yankees.
I got to go back to the beginning of the year, and I picked the Tigers. So I'm sticking with it. I'm going to say the Tigers come out in Game 5. I don't know. For some reason, I just think they're going to get it done. They're going to win, and then they're going to go against Texas, and I'm thinking I'm going to stick with the Tigers. I'm just going to stick with, what I had. You know?
No, might as well. I can
the next week we'll come back, and I'll pick somebody else. But
I can respect,
right now I'm going
I can respect that. I can respect that.
So in the NL, you got the Diamondbacks, Brewers. Brewers are up 2-1. Cardinals, Phils are up 2-1. So who you taking?
I'm sticking with the Phillies. I guess I'm kind of like you and the Tigers. I picked the Phillies at the beginning of the year. I think they just have the best pitching. The Brewers are on a little bit of a roll, which kind of concerns me, but I think the Phillies are going to get it done with the starting pitching.
Yeah, I think the easy thing to say right now is that the Brewers and the Phils are going to be in the NLCS. So you kind of look at that and you go, oh, what's it going to be? I like you picked the Phillies. I'm going to stick with the Phillies, but the Brewers do look like a tough team to beat. They got a lot of hitting. Prince Fielder.
They're a real team.
Could be tough.
They seem really together. I mean, they seem like really the team concept. I mean, you know, they got Braun, they got Fielder. Yeah. I mean, I think they got a lot of good pieces there. Greinke in the starting pitching.
Like you, I'm going to stick with the Phillies. I think they've got the experience. I think they've been there before. I think they probably get it done.
It's a good postseason so far. So hopefully, hopefully they'll go World Series.
All right, so we're going to move on to the NFL, and we're going to talk about, there's some teams out there that had a lot of expectations, and they're not quite living up to them. So we took the Eagles, Steelers, and Jets. Who's in the most trouble?
As I see it right now, I mean...
You're a Jets fan, so tell me.
Well, see, the Jets, I mean, they've played questionably, I mean, there's no doubt. But they've had some injuries on the offensive line. So, I mean, Mangold's been out. I think that really impacted him on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's big for them.
I may be going a little bit of a limb. I mean, you'll probably reading this back to me in a couple of weeks. But I think the Steelers just look really old. I mean, they look old, they look slow. And they're just not the same. I mean, running backs are running up and down the field on them. You never used to be on the Steelers. I think the Steelers are in the most trouble, and I'm not sure they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess I looked at this a little. I could see that. I could see that pick of the Steelers. I looked at it a little bit differently. I think the thing I worry about is you want to get in the playoffs. You got to win your division. I mean, you can get in with a wild card, but the division gets you right in there.
Right.
And the Eagles are at 1-3 or 2 games back behind the Giants and the Redskins, and they're even behind the Cowboys, who are 2-2. And I just think that's a lot to make up. Now, it's good for them that they have 5 division games still ahead of them, so that they've really only lost that one. I think it was to the Giants. So they've got some room to make it up, and I think they can, but I think there's a lot of pressure on them right now. If I was going to say who's panicking, it's got to be them. They've got to go into Buffalo this week, and they've got to win, and they've got to get something rolling going into their bye week and then really settle down. The Jets are having a tough time, but I think they'll figure it out. But, yeah, I could see where you'd go with the Steelers because, Big Ben got hurt last week. James Harrison's hurt. I mean, those are big components of their team.
They slow on defense. They used to always dial up the right blitz. They just look slow.
Yeah, I could see that one. But I'm going to go with the Eagles right now just because, and I hate to do that because it's so early in the season, but that's where I'd have to go right now.
Their defense looks really bad. Eagles' defense looks bad.
So continuing with the NFL, obviously the offenses, it seemed like have been going crazy this year. Aaron Rodgers throwing for all his yards. Tom Brady throwing for all his yards.
You can't stop these guys.
What's your take on that?
Cam Newton.
Is it good for the game?
Drew Brees. I mean, you know where I'm going to come out on this, right?
I think I do.
I just don't really. I mean, I just think they've sort of slanted the rules so far in the favor of the offense that you really can't play defense anymore. And I think it's even like Dan Marino always says on CBS pregame. It doesn't take anything to complete a pass in the NFL anymore. And now it's just going to be. I just hope the NFL doesn't come down to where, the last person at the ball is going to score, and it's sort of this Canadian, 58-52 type thing. And I just feel like right now that it's really hard to play defense. And again, you can't chuck anybody past 5 yards. You can't hold anybody. You can't hit the quarterback. I mean, if you hit him in the head. And I think it's just really changed the whole balance of the game.
Let me just play devil's advocate for a second.
That's totally like you to do that.
Didn't the Ravens just score like three TDs on defense last week? I mean, you should know, right? Because it was fantasy football. You kind of got stormed by them.
Against the Jets, too.
I mean, you see a lot of defensive plays that are going for touchdowns and things like that. I think the defenses can still dial it up. I think it's... I see where you're going with it. Like, I know there's a lot of rules that have changed that you really throw the ball a lot more. And even Tom Brady came out and said, you know, the reason I'm throwing all these touchdown passes and I just passed my idol, Joe Montana, is because we throw the ball a lot more. I think that's true. I don't
think you have to run the football anymore.
You don't have to.
Why would you run it?
You don't have to. But I do think that defenses still do step it up. I think what you're seeing right now is that they haven't gotten together as much as they would have from OTAs, and kind of that lockout's really hurting the defense more than it's the offense.
But shouldn't it hurt the offense more?
I don't think so, because you don't have those. You
want the timing. The thing about the offense, you need the timing, right?
But
so
I agree with you.
And you throw.
I agree with you.
They should hurt the offense more.
But I agree with you that they've slanted it so that that's not a huge impact on the offense anymore because of the way the penalties are on defense. And the way that they've made it so easy to complete.
I like the good old days. We just chuck the guy all the way down the field. You got the Raiders, you know.
But I think we'll see some of that slow down. I think towards
even like the Patriots, right? I mean, the Patriots, they used to hold all the time. Remember, like, they used to play the Colts, and they'd be holding all the time, and then they would put a stop to all that great stuff, right? But anyway, I'm not a big fan, but we'll see how it works out.
So you really are going to love the next topic. Wanted to get your opinion, kind of rate the decision on the Redskins letting McNabb go and sticking with Rex Grossman.
I think Shanahan, we do this from Northern Virginia, so we read this in the newspaper every day. I just think they look really clairvoyant. I think Shanahan's, you got to give him a pat on the back. I think he saw the handwriting on the wall, and I think he made the right move. Not that Grossman's, Joe Montana by any stretch of the imagination, right? But I think the way McNabb is, seeming to struggle in Minnesota, I think Shanahan's kind of vindicated by us. Because, I mean, you know the local media here. He took a lot of heat the way he treated McNabb, letting McNabb go. There's a lot of people on sports talk radio here that are really against that move, and I think he looks pretty good making that move.
Yeah, I'd like to say that McNabb's having trouble because, they didn't have OTAs, they didn't have this, because he is going to a new team, a new offense, he's got to learn it and figure it out. And I didn't think it'd be that hard for him. And then you see, like, Hasselbeck in Tennessee, and he's doing really well. So I guess I can't kind of fall back on that argument as much as I'd like. I think the Redskins did fine getting rid of McNabb, but sticking with Grossman, I mean, he's a guy that's okay, he's serviceable, he's going to win you some games, but he's going to lose more of them. I mean, you're going to see him fumble in the fourth quarter or throw an interception in the fourth quarter every time you need to win a game.
He's going to turn the ball over twice a game. But he makes a lot of big plays too. And I think that's to me now. Donovan can't step up in the. I mean, last week was a great example. They could have beat the Chiefs, and I picked the Chiefs in our pick'em segment last week. And he gets the ball on the Chiefs half of the 50. 3 minutes left. Go down and make the winning score, and he can't do it. And it's like I don't know. He's not capable anymore. In most situations, of being able to do that. I think once in a while will come up.
I want to give McNabb a couple more games to see.
A couple more games? How many games you need?
A couple more. That's what I just said.
Okay.
I think a couple more games. I mean, I think that some of the offensive play calling for Minnesota has been bad because I'm sorry, when you have the lead in the second half and you only give the ball to Adrian Peterson 5 or 6 times.
The play calling's been bad because they want him to throw the ball. You're saying to run to set the pass.
Run to set the pass.
No,
I think that's what they should have been doing. Anyway, well, just a couple more games. We'll see. He's not doing as well as I thought he would. I'll admit that. But anyway, moving on to NASCAR, I guess we're going to talk about.
I just thought we've been talking a lot about football and. Why don't we change up? We're in the chase. Right. We got 7 races left.
Races left.
You got Harvick tied.
So who's going to win this?
I think Carl Edwards is going to win this.
You're not going with Jimmy Johnson? I mean, the guy's won it like every year for the last
I just don't think he hasn't been running that well lately.
Yeah, I know.
And I think there's some tracks coming up that Edwards is really good at. And I think historically.
Wait, you're picking Edwards? I had Edwards.
Why did you have Edwards?
I had Edwards because he has 13 top 5 finishes. I'm like, I just went out and I looked to see who had like the most top 5
this is his year.
Because it's not just winning the race, it's just being consistently in the top 5. And that's why I went with Edwards. I was like, 13 top 5 finishes, how can you not go with this guy? So
no, I think he's definitely...
I'm picking Stewart. Stewart's in the lead right now, I'm going to go with him.
Stewart, that's not a bad pick.
He seems to have at least gotten his car running, and they seem to be kind of like...
He's kind of quick in that time. He's won a lot of races recently.
So I'll go with Stewart, that's fine. We can be a little different.
No, that's cool. Okay. So
but Edwards is my number 2 then. You want to take another one? You want to take a number 2?
No, that's good. No, that's good.
I think it'll be interesting to watch. I mean, I don't get into NASCAR that much, but...
I like NASCAR.
I think it's more interesting now that they've added the kind of race for the Cup. I think it's a little bit more.
You know what I'm going to say.
No, tell me about it, old geezer.
No, I just like the old system. I like the system where it was more over the long run. Now you like wipe out the whole first part of the season. I mean, why should you do that, right?
It's like a
playoff. Why do we have to have playoffs for everything?
Yeah, why don't we
get a college playoff, a NASCAR playoff, you know? I mean, why don't you just go by the preponderance of the season? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Now in baseball, let's add wild card.
Oh, come on, that's a totally different.
Is it playoffs for everything?
Alright, that's it. We're out of here.
I'm like,
yeah, sometime we'll add some other topics.
That's my hot button issue.
Alright, well that's it for us, Hodge and Podge. Hope you enjoyed the segment. We'll see you guys next week.
Alright, thanks.